Well, this is on your main channel too. This is interesting.
Yes, it is. Hello, fan base. Welcome to the Rant Cafe. This week it's on my channel because I do it occasionally. Usually it's on Anime Uproar's channel. Link to his channel is in the description, but he's in Cuba, so I take over now.
Hello, hello.
So, with us today we have the legendary All Day Anime, usual member.
Yeah, usually late.
Usually late, usually has background noise.
Do I have background noise right now? Is it really bad?
Not really bad, but whatever.
Yeah, I booked a room at school, but the people next to me seem to be very loud.
All right, so great to see you. We also have for the first time Clyde the Weeaboo, all the way from down under.
Down from Australia. Thanks for having me on. What's going on?
And we have Soul, who unfortunately lost his main channel, but he's starting a new main channel, which is pretty awesome.
I have a cooler channel now, so yeah.
All right, link to everyone is in the description. And since everyone here seems to have made a video talking about either the downfall of Bleach or the deappreciation of Bleach or a wasted masterpiece, I figured this was a perfect time to breach this subject because Anime Uproar hasn't watched Bleach. And we finally got away from him. So, Clyde, would you like to start?
Well, what do you want me to say exactly? I'm getting a bit of love in chat already. Celebrity status. I mean, yeah. What do you want me to say? I'll ask me questions and I'll answer. Like when it comes to Bleach, because I obviously am a big fan of Bleach. I think it gets a lot of crap in general for basically everything, but apart from all of its flaws, I'm quite the big fan of it, and I've pretty much made that apparent with my latest video.
I'd say Bleach is a wasted masterpiece. Shameless plug. Check out my videos.
Well, I don't know what you saw in the final arc, Clyde.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see anything or just?
Oh yeah, I've read the entire thing, like all the way to the end. So
you liked it?
The last arc is my favorite, apart from the fact that it ended. Apart from the fact that it ended like probably 100+ chapters short. Like let's be honest. So yeah, I don't know. I like the theme of the last arc. It's not written well at all whatsoever. Like I'm not praising it for its writing ability, but it was just entertaining week to week. That's my opinion as a Bleach fan. But I see that it has numerous amount of flaws that can be pointed out, so I understand why you're so shocked.
Yeah, the way I saw Bleach is it started off extremely strong, and the Soul Society arc in the beginning is really incredible, and everything past that point is really just building on the recipe they had in the Soul Society. Like, they had Ichigo, he becomes a Soul Reaper. Okay, that's great. But as it progresses, every arc, he becomes the new type of person. He's a human, and then he becomes a Soul Reaper, and then he becomes a Hollow, and then he becomes a Quincy, and he becomes a Fulbright. He becomes everything under the sun. Like, as the series progresses. It felt novel in the Soul Society arc. But I feel like it lost its novelty.
I can't defend it. That's the thing. Like, they're all very shitty writing things, in my opinion. I'm sure if James Hansen see this, he'd rip my fucking head off. But it's the series is not written the best out of any of the like the shonen, sort of mangas. I guess if you want good writing in terms of consistency, you'd read Hana Hana. But Bleach is just the only thing I can say about how it not so much just ended, but the last probably 200 chapters, give or take, was that it did its job as a battle manga and it was entertaining in terms of fights, but story-wise, not very good. Like, it wasted characters. It was like pretty bad on certain weeks. Like, Kubo wasted probably like 10 chapters on some Quincy's that we literally did not give a shit about at all whatsoever. The best example is that Love Dude. That was just what a waste of time. Even some of the female Quincy's, like some of them are cool. Like Bambietta, she was really, really badass, and so was like Candace.
I'm not going to remember any of the names of any of the Quincy's. Just warning you right now.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. That's a good example. Like, it's not. Yeah, it's not that memorable because it's not the best. But I just like the final arc because I've always been interested in the Quincy's. It's a shame that it wasn't executed correctly. That's all I have to say, really.
Well, Kubo has a tendency to set up arcs and premises up extremely well, but he lacks good execution. So, like, you can find it in every arc pretty much, especially the last arc, because I consider the first half of the last arc like one of the best parts in Bleach. Unironically, I think the first half, like before it got rushed to shit, before like stuff got missed out, I think the Thousand Year Blood War arc was some of its strongest material because it entered into a darker territory that it really done beforehand.
Okay, but here's another thing with the Thousand Blood War arc. It sort of came out of nowhere, didn't it? Like, and the series until that point, it sort of had an overarching plot, and then when Aizen was beaten, the plot ended. And then all of a sudden, boom! All these Quincy's, they were actually everywhere all along. And like, what?
The biggest mistake that Kubo had was setting up Aizen as this big and final antagonist without any set up for stuff afterwards.
I thought Aizen was absolutely amazing. They should have just ended it there.
Well, no, I'm saying that's his biggest mistake.
Yeah,
there was no setup with the stuff afterwards.
Yeah. No, ending it there would be silly because Aizen himself pointed out to Ichigo that Aizen's not Ichigo's goal. Ichigo's goal is avenging his mother. That's what the series has always been about. It's always been about what happened to his mother and how that changed the course of his life. And that's where the Quincy's and Urahara come in particular, because if they ended it with Aizen, one thing you also got to realize is that the final sort of arc during the Aizen stuff was stretched out incredibly long because of how much Shonen Jump liked the fact that it was selling like fucking pancakes. It was insane, but that's a huge issue too, because it's like, all right, well, they pushed Aizen into this main spotlight of he's the goal of the series, it ends after him, but that was never Ichigo's goal at all whatsoever. I think the final arc could have been executed better, as I've said plenty of times. That's why it's just so...
Speaking of Ichigo's goal, and this is another strength of early Bleach, but I feel like it disintegrated a little bit. He didn't have any real goal. He thought that his mother was killed by some fodder hollow. Okay, whatever. And Rukia was captured, so he went to the Soul Society. That makes sense. But as the series progressed, every arc was, so Orihime was captured. Oh, so the Soul Society is being invaded. Let's go save them.
There's actually an interesting thing that James Hansen told me about, and that's that there's a panel in the manga that was actually left out of the original first couple of episodes from the anime, and it's a panel where he says something along the lines of, he's like, I can hear the screams of these spirits, I can see the blood everywhere, but there's nothing I can do about it. Now, if they had actually shown that in the anime, people's opinions on a said goal would have changed, because Ichigo's goal from the start has been to protect others. That's what it's always been. Now, whether or not the story's been shown shittily and pretty corny in some instances, like with the rescue of Orihime and even to an extent some of Rukia, like the goal is set pretty apparent, and it wasn't shown well enough because of them leaving that main point of the story out of the fucking anime.
Oh, I'm so glad we finally have someone that could do that talking into the mic thing. It's great.
Mm-hmm. So that's that. But yeah, anyway, so obviously the Soul Society arc gets praised because it's regarded as one of the best arcs in Shonen Jump. I can't argue that. I think it's amazing, but I also did like a lot of the things from later arcs that were just blatantly entertaining. That's all they were there for, just entertainment value, just typical Chads fucking attacking each other. That's about it.
Well, a lot of the things that happen again later in Bleach, I don't know. I think if, for example, the Quincy arc would have, I mean, obviously it's impossible because of the power scaling, but if the Quincy arc would have happened before the Aizen, the what are those things called? The Rankars, before that whole thing, like in the middle over there, between going to Waco Mundo and the Soul Society arc, if it would have happened there, and they wouldn't have been so ridiculously overpowered, that might have, changed up the scenery a little bit, let Aizen actually be his final boss, let him do his evil plan. But it's not all just every single season, one to the other, back to back. It's just the same formula with different players. And also, speaking of power scaling, the power scaling was sort of great in the Soul Society arc. Like, Ichigo was flying up the ranks. He was getting way, way powerful really quickly. But then, like, as it kept going, it's like these captains that he beat before he even got Bankai are now way stronger than him now that he has visored form.
Well, that's always been an issue I've seen with Bleach, is how it's like, wait a second, so Kenpachi can beat Noyatora, but Ichigo can beat him in the Soul Society arc
before he got Bankai.
That's more so a matter of, it's like, yeah, Shonen Jump wants the series to extend. Like, wait, there's a lot of background noise coming from the other dude.
Yeah, sorry, dude. But like, Kenpachi is a very straight-on fighter, right? So it's a different type of fight than Kenpachi with other types of people,
But like,
it was, I don't know. But if you want to take the rankings at face value, then Noyatora should be stronger than Grimmjow and Ichigo based on that fact. And it's like, why can Kenpachi beat him, but he can't beat Ichigo?
The difference is that whenever Kenpachi comes closer to death, he gets stronger. So he actually had a power increase after his fight with Ichigo. That's why he could beat Noitora.
That's what I've been saying. Kenpachi's really a secret Super Saiyan, but no one knows
And
it.
to be fair,
But it also
probably shoehorned in the last arc just to make the power scaling like have a bit more sense, but still.
Yeah, but it can also be applied to a lot of the other captains too. It's like there's a lot of other ones like Tosin and people like that. Like how was he getting bitched on by the Kenpachi at that point in the story who was, Ichigo Shikai level?
Yeah, Tosin doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like there's plenty of examples of that. But yeah, also I just wanted to go back to it. So the reason why, the actual series itself gets sort of lengthed out and sort of like boring or way more extended than it needs to be is because Shonen Jump has, blatantly made it clear that they loved the Espada during that part of the series, and the rankings can be shown very clearly when they used to do
I'll be
character
honest,
rankings.
I loved the Espada also. I thought they were freaking badass. And another thing, I was really upset how Ukiura died. I thought that was
that was a double-sided blade because it's like, all right, well, he gets killed off and he has a good death, or hey, he could have been used further on in the series, like at the Quincy arc, where he would have actually been someone that could have slapped a lot of the Quincy's, and also been
also number 4. I thought just from what I saw in the series, he deserved the higher rank than number 4.
It was done on purpose. It's like Aizen explained it to Ichigo when they were fighting. He's like, yeah, I purposely set out certain people to fight you so that they could develop your abilities. I don't know how that flies over everybody's heads, but like, I'm not insulting you. I'm saying it's just surprising how much people don't know that because, in their exchange during the Karakura Town arc, he's saying to Ichigo, he's like, look, like it was done on purpose. I don't see Yami ever beating, Ukiura or even Stark and people like that. That would never happen. Ukiura was definitely the strongest.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was another, I thought, major flaw in Bleach. That one line killed so much for me. Well, you see, everything that's been happening until this point was really the work of Black Zetsu. I mean, I'm sorry, Aizen.
Just like Lord Twigo.
Just like Lord Twigo, but nobody knows that. We'll keep that secret.
And Urahara did that as well at in the last arc. He was like, "Oh, even Aizen's plan was part of my plan."
Right, it's all this like brilliant planning done by everyone that they really set up everyone else's lives. It's like just to show how badass they are. How did you do it? I don't know, but they did it. But and we didn't have that before either. Aizen was a good enough mastermind without that extra line throwing in there that he also set up the entire series.
I think there's a lot of Kubo just winging it as it comes because his editors were sort of saying to him a lot like, hey, look, these characters are pretty fucking popular. Let's just keep the story flowing. So, yeah, even their final battle was absolute AIDS. Like, if you want to talk about where the Quincy arc should have started, it should have started with Yuha intervening in the fight between Ichigo and Aizen because then it would have disrupted the whole storyline and not thrown us into the fucking Fullbring arc, which was, like, that's basically killed the series.
Yeah, I even found the bounce better than the Fullbringers.
Oh, that's gross. Yeah, they're both equally disgusting.
And it was great. Even in the filler, back in the day when I watched Bleach, I never knew about filler. Like, I was watching it as it came. And the bounce, some of them actually survived. And I was like, why don't we see them again? But whatever.
Yeah, when I first watched Bleach when I was like 15, I was sitting there and I'm like, God, these episodes are so fucking boring. What the fuck?
Right.
Like, let's get back to the original stuff. And then I skipped through and I was like, oh, this is filler. Like, I had no idea what it was. If you're first time to Bleach, don't watch the filler. Don't watch the Bound arc. Oh, horrible.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I was watching Naruto and past 135, until 220, it's just the most boring stuff ever.
Yeah, it is. I'm surprised that didn't kill Naruto because they had like, 50 episodes of filler, give or take, and that
80.
was disgusting.
80.
That's horrible.
More, like 85.
Jesus Christ. God, the fans in Japan were really patient, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that was impressive. But in all, Naruto Shippuden filler is the worst filler ever.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of the Bleach ones are just so bad, whether it's power scaling or storytelling or corny villains. Like, they're definitely in the same ballpark. They're both horrible.
We're super on those guys. The Karakura Town superheroes with the dude with the mustache.
Oh,
That was awesome, man. I enjoyed that filler.
with Kone, whatever his name is.
Were you talking about Don Kanonji?
That guy.
Don Kanonji's
The strongest character.
He's the Mr. Satan of Bleach.
He's Aizen's lucky. He was gonna one shot him, but his pole just happened to disintegrate for no reason. Like, oof.
Oh god.
Yeah.
So yeah, is there
But at
anything
least there's no cyborg Narutos, no ostrich ninjas, none of that.
Yeah, that's actual cancer. Yuck.
Right. So, as far as early Bleach, though, without the flaws that we've mentioned,
It's one of my favorite shonen arcs of all time, and I'm a One Piece tard, and it's still like this whole society arc is my absolute favorite. And I wish I could talk more, but I'm in way too loud of an area. But
well, you're invited to do the ASMR, like, so this is One Piece.
Well, we could turn this into a One Piece stream. I don't care.
That's next week. One Piece next week, because Animax still in Cuba.
Well, next week I will stay home.
Sounds good. But
so yeah, anything in particular you'd like Soul Knight to answer, because we are pretty much some of the most knowledgeable Bleach dudes in the community, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's great.
I feel like early Bleach. I mean, like early Bleach. Like the first arc is actually pretty underrated, because at the time it was released, it was such a breath of fresh air in shonen.
The first 17 episodes.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was like the edge. It was like the new edgy series that was released.
It was like edgy Dragon Ball.
That's like the more lighthearted, protagonists of other shows. Ichigo was like kind of a depressing kind of teenager. His mum died, blah blah blah. And
that's hardly a surprise.
He's also an older main character, right? We were so used to younger people.
If they released Bleach nowadays with similar animation as part, the first part, because it's very dark and has like misty animation all the time, that shit would be the same. It'd be in the same category as like Tokyo Ghoul. Like, I already know so many fans would just jump on that like crazy, like, oh, this is the best anime in like the last 3 years. It was definitely at the time it was pretty edgy compared to a lot of the other series. I mean, people could say it's a ripoff of Yu Hakusho, but
that's a crying shame to Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, rip.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have. Yu Hakusho is great, but it's very overblown because of nostalgia. So that's a factor that I can't praise it like it's a perfect series, but it's definitely entertaining.
All right, so I actually just watched Yu Hakusho rather recently, like within the last year, and I thought it was amazing. There were so many things I liked about it, much better than Hunter x Hunter, and much better than a lot of the good shonens, as they call them.
Well, like the main character, Yusuke, is way better than Gon, right?
Right, so I was going to say, the main characters of Yu Hakusho, all 4 of them, okay, Kuwabara is pretty awesome himself, but the main 4 of them are all really great protagonists. Hiei as like the little edgy dude.
Yeah, I'd say I like the world better in Hunter x Hunter, and especially the villains.
Oh, the villains, no comparison. Hunter x Hunter takes the cake there. Villains in Bleach, there was Aizen, and there was Ukiura, and for me, there was no one else.
Yeah, and
I disagree with that. I feel like the first arc, the Soul Society arc, was very well written. Like, it was one. Like,
okay, that's fair.
I guess the power scaling, it was like one. Like, the next opponent every time was like always a little bit ahead, and then they had that huge twist with Aizen, which was really well written, and then even like a little bit of a training Bonkai scene in between. I thought it was unbelievable. Oh, yeah. The hype just kept on like growing throughout the arc.
Yeah, that was an amazing arc.
I'd say Yu-Ha for the first half of the final arc was actually he was a good villain, because unlike Aizen, who kind of just Yu-Ha, you watch
Yu-Ha, that guy, right.
Yeah, the mustache, big guy.
Yeah, I told you I don't remember the quintet.
Yeah, because unlike Aizen, who just monologued like over the top, he actually took action and killed characters, and he kind of destroyed the society.
Dude, he fucking bitched Kenpachi so bad. Like, he went in there like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take the main dude, and he literally just grabs him by the throat and just destroys him.
He defeated Kenpachi, killed Yamamoto, destroyed the Soul Society.
One shot Ichigo.
One shot Ichigo. That's just in the first invasion.
Yeah, pretty.
I do think in the latter half of the arc, where you kind of like, oh, I can see the future, he kind of lost his impact as a villain, because he just got like a bit OP and hacked.
Yeah, but both him and Aizen needed actual backstory, because we still don't even know what Aizen's motives are. Like, why he was such an asshole. It was never delved into. Why does he hate the Soul King? Why is he being like an actual just full blown douchebag, like fucking over Gin and Tosin and people like that? There was
the only reason is that he's like narcissistic and he has a god complex. Like, we should have at least understood why he has his motivations.
Gin should have totally killed Aizen. That'd have been sick. That would have been amazing.
That would have been sick, but then main character Ichigo could,
Oh,
get
the
his
main
dick
character
out
didn't
and-
actually do everything in this arc. It's not like he didn't beat every bad guy until here. I don't know. I thought that would have been amazing.
A 15-year-old kid.
That's an issue I have with like most shonens. It always has to be the main character that beats the main bad guy, and that's something I love about the Chimera Ant arc in.
No, I was about to say,
Hunter.
Gon doesn't kill the king.
No, that's right. That's why that's done great. But
that's why Resurrection to F was a good movie up until the last 5 minutes when fucking Goku comes out of nowhere, the Kamehameha and kills Frieza. It's like, yeah, he could have just let Vegeta finish him off, but no, typical Shonen Jump. It's fucking absolutely ridiculous. Like the fans for years had wanted that, they couldn't even do that. I mean, yeah, that's really irritating, especially with the fact that as much as a lot of people defend the dumb guy Ichigo form, it was a actual ass pull. It really was. Like, straight up bullshit.
It was. Hey, there's
something else. Something else.
That,
Bleach does. Speaking of that form, which I will not name because I will mess up the pronunciation, but all of his powers are augmentation abilities. Like it's a trend in shonen protagonists also, but like he starts off as base Ichigo, and then he basically gets stronger in Shikai, right? From original sword thing. And then Bankai starts, he gets way faster, and then Visored he gets faster, and then Thingy he gets faster and stronger. It's no abilities. He didn't use any keto or anything. It's all just augmentation until he
there's actually a reason for that too. So the power scaling, as we said before, is a little bit on and off with Bleach, and especially the actual abilities with Ichigo himself. So he never had an actual real Zanpakuto until the final arc. His body was basically emitting a mixture of the Quincy abilities, the Hollow abilities, which were inside of his body, and his normal spiritual pressure, like his own. So the reason why his swords are all just speed and strength is because they're actually a resurrection. Like when he goes into Bankai, he's basically transforming like Grimmjow is. And the reason why it's like so just, like I said, only speed and strength is because of that reason. So when he's in the, the final arc and he's training with the Zero Division, he gets his own Asuchi, which is the name of the soul you get for your own Zanpakuto.
Right.
And that's where he gets his, quote, real Zanpakuto ability. So if you look at someone like Toshiro, he has ice. You look at Byakuya, he has the rose razors. You look at, Aizen, he has hypnosis. Now, apparently, according to Yuha, Ichigo actually had an ability that he was scared of. So for all we know, it could have been Aizen hypnosis times 10. Could have been fucking, he summons dildos. Like, it could have been anything. It could have been his actual real ability, and we never got to see it. So that explains why his abilities were so retarded throughout the whole series.
Yeah, but that really felt to me like Kubo was like,
smart
there's this plot hole the whole time. How do we actually figure this?
It wasn't a plot hole, but it's also really annoying because it would have been cool if he hinted at the fact that Ichigo never had genuine powers.
Yeah, I just find it confusing on why he didn't actually give Ichigo proper genuine abilities rather than just saying, oh, he couldn't have abilities because of this reason, and then when he has the ability to showcase them, he gets his Bankai broken in half, so he can't. Like, I don't know why Kubo went down that route.
Someone said, why couldn't he have mastered his Hollow abilities? So obviously, you got to realize, just like with the Naruto struggle, he didn't get along with the Hollow at all for a majority of the series. And even when he finally got to use his Hollow powers at will during the final arc, he could barely switch them on. Like, it wasn't like, hey, Hollow man, switch it on for me like Naruto. Like, I don't even think that being was conscious anymore inside of his body past the Aizen fight. So there was no room for him to master those abilities. It would have been cool if he did in terms of, getting stronger. But yeah, RIP.
What's up with the chat calling like Bleach got ruined by feminism?
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. I was waiting for someone.
Yeah. What's that about? What is that about?
I have no idea. That's no meme on my channel yet.
Can someone explain what the feminism thing is about, please?
I don't know.
I think this is a
no,
meme.
not you guys. Yeah, get someone in chat. Explain what's going on.
I don't think anything's going on.
Also, shout out to my biggest fan, Liable Punchline Dispenser. He's been following my channel for so long, dude. Like ever since probably my first sub. I think it was my first sub. Really genuine, dude. Really love you, buddy.
Damn, that's cute.
Nice. Anyway, yeah, the
feminism. Explain what's going on. Does it have anything to do with like Orihime or something like that?
I don't know. I would think it's the opposite. I would think Bleach is sexist, if anything. None of the female characters did anything.
Sorry? Oh, that's bullshit. There were so many strong girls in that series.
Oh,
like, that's
please, don't even try, man.
Yoruichi, the Quincy's, Bambietta was going to destroy the whole Soul Society. She, like, even Komamura went into his invincibility form to stop her. That's how overpowered that girl was.
Yeah, but Komamura stopped her.
He did, because he had to go invincible. Like, he threw away his ability so he could stop that invincible, overpowered motherfucking female. That's the point I'm making. Like, that's how Kubo did.
He blocked it, and he wasn't even that cool.
Well, it doesn't make a difference. It's like, if you compare it to like the females in One Piece, like apart from Big Mom, they're kind of trash. And then you look at Bleach, where you've got Yoruichi slapping eyes around with those.
Yeah, all shonen female characters. Shonen female characters in Naruto. Oh, there's Sakura, right? She's amazing. She did everything throughout the series. No, seriously, but shonen female characters do nothing in every anime except for like Fairy Tail, and that's let's praise Fairy Tail.
That's because of bullshit reasons, though. Like,
absolutely, Urza. Let's take off all our armor to get even stronger. Okay,
yeah, it's just,
right.
Shonen logic.
Yeah. Oh, there's Kill la Kill also, but that's like fan service powers.
Is that even shonen? That's like borderline hentai.
Well, I don't know. If you squint really hard, I think it becomes a shonen.
I respect that. That's a good answer.
But other than that, females and shonens, not so much. Even My Hero Academia, it's like not even.
Oh wow, she can make things float. That's really cool.
Yeah, every female character lost in the first round of the tournament. Like,
if you consider like a Kamigami Kill shonen though, like Death, fucking oof. Like she wins. She wins hands down.
All right, that is true, but she's also a yandere. Yandere's gets superpowers. It's like
I'd let her rule my life.
Yeah, too bad you're not the main character, whatever his bland ass name was.
Yeah, I can't even remember what his name was.
He was insert, impressionable.
Right. It sounds like Keiichi something.
Yeah.
Keiichi. Oh, I feel like it's a Keiichi.
Yeah, insert fucking brown haired main character.
Yeah,
looks like the dude from Hitman Reborn.
Just looks like every generic main character.
Yeah, it's the shonen thing with the one strand of hair between his eyes, either black hair or brown hair.
I really liked the Kamigami Kill because it was just such a clusterfuck that it was so entertaining.
Right, so I'm glad you mentioned it because I don't really get the chance to talk about it, but I also think that it was overly hated. Oh, everyone dies and it's stupid. And to be honest, it's like, as far as fun characters go, Kamigami Kill really, it ruled.
Oh god, it was so entertaining to watch. Like every week, I looked.
Bulat was like gay Kamina, like.
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah. And the background music was actually really fucking badass. I think the biggest issue people have is that it didn't finish, correctly in line with the manga. So I can respect that point of view. But it was
kind
pretty
of
entertaining.
half the plot of the story in the last episode, which didn't really.
It's named incorrectly. It's called Akame got killed, and she was the only one that survived.
That armor though, like that was pretty fucking badass. That gold armor shit at the end.
Yeah, but I thought that was also just plot armor.
Oh, it was just the anime.
Let's digivolve our armor into bigger armor. It's like, okay, you could do that too. There were two guys with armor. The other guy didn't end up doing anything. Wave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing I did like about the final arc in Bleach, one thing that I actually really liked was that Iwitach, I don't know his name, that guy with the mustache, right?
Just say Juha, yeah, Juha.
Juha. That's like none of the letters in. Whatever. The guy with the mustache.
Yeah.
He was actually his. I don't know. Obviously, he wasn't. What's his bankai, his sword, his zanpakuto. He was, from the beginning, it was really the
Zangetsu.
Quincy part. Zangetsu, thank you.
Yeah.
Right, that was actually cool. I was like,
that was good foreshadowing right there.
Yeah,
that was one of the few instances of like genuinely decent foreshadowing in Bleach. It's a shame that
I was like, what? Kubo actually thinks from arc to arc, and then it's like, not really, because Aizen and his indestructible chair come.
There was actually heaps of stuff that he planned from the start, but like I was saying before, Shonen Jump had a lot to do with it because they asked him to purposely extend certain arcs. He actually said that he had a arc planned post the Quincy stuff, which just never got around to doing. So that's a shame. I think he is really underrated. Like, he left a lot of sort of hints in the story here and there about certain things. I mean, episode 1, there's a fucking Quincy cross on his bed in the anime and stuff like that. So.
Right. I'm not saying he doesn't think about what he's writing.
No,
he obviously does. Like, for example,
he did, but also the continuity of his stories kind of get fucked around with by editors and Shonen Jump, which it blatantly did.
Yeah, clearly. And you see that with his characters also, because he obviously knew what he wanted from all of his characters. Like, Ichigo's dad was like the coolest guy ever. Like, all of a sudden, turns out he was the Soul Reaper and says, oh, my sword is small, but if I would make it normal size, it would be the size of a skyscraper. And the other guy's like, what? Right? Like, all of a sudden, he pops out. He was the cringy old dude that would try to kick his son in the face every morning. Then all of a sudden, he becomes epic badass Papa. And also, best character is Mr. Hat and Clogs.
Oh, yeah, my man Urahara. He's the fucking boy.
Oh, man. I love that dude.
He's the type of character that doesn't matter who you match him up against. Like, I have a feeling he can pull something out of his wizard sleeve and win. Right.
So, like, he actually thinks when he fights also. And he'll only enter a fight when he knows he's going to kick his ass.
He said in the war arc, he's like, I've got 1,000 plans for 1,000 different situations. So he's the man.
That's exactly how I imagined his voice too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Yeah,
How's the background noise now, guys?
Much better.
Whoa. Yeah, I'm in the same type of room. This time there aren't assholes next to me.
All right. So, what do you like about Bleach? Didn't hear much from
nothing.
you. Nothing.
No, I'm kidding. Okay, the character designs are extremely cool. Like ridiculous. They're on another level, like in terms of shonen anyway. I don't really have too much to say. I loved the first 17 episodes. It was very different when I was young watching it than like really anything else. Like the main character was a lot older than like Naruto and most like shonen characters at the time. It really grabbed me. I thought the like Soul Society arc was absolutely amazing. And then like you said before, the repetition came along, and I feel like Kubo's strengths have never been in writing. So like right there, it being a long running shonen, it wasn't in its favor at all. I don't really have too much to add to what you guys said. Like my knowledge isn't close to Soul or Clyde.
I agree that from a like an art style and like paneling and layout perspective, Bleach is one of the best manga.
Oh yeah, and as far as filling out backgrounds, just the backgrounds of every single picture, like he was really paying attention.
Yeah.
Until
from its design
shows up. Until
the heart,
arc.
yeah.
And he that guy, whatever. He screwed up the whole. I don't know. He obviously was either getting lazy or tired or something.
Well, one thing that annoyed me was like in the Espada arc where people were getting mad of like the look of Waco Mundo. They're saying like he wasn't like playing to his strength, which I guess I agree. But the place was like a wasteland. Like I don't understand why people were complaining about that. That always bothered me.
Him going to Waco Mundo or Ichigo and the squad fam going to Waco Mundo, that was like the coolest thing for me.
Yeah, like people were basically saying like it was, I was
expecting it. Like I don't know if you read Percy Jackson and the Olympians back in the day.
I did.
Anybody? So like when they went to Tartaros, I was like, oh, this is gonna be the best book ever, and it was like the most boring book ever.
Yeah, the start of that whole when he fights the Spanish Espada and all these random things, like that was really boring and just slow. But yeah, that's I don't know. I want to just defend the fact that it's like, look, he even though he doesn't do good backgrounds, like his character design is on point. It's some of the best in Shonen Jump.
Oh, absolutely.
As far as backgrounds go, I think no one really beats Oda and
Miro from Berserk.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right. And him.
No, Berserk is absolutely the best drawn manga.
Berserk's in another realm.
Yeah, it doesn't even exist in our plane of existence.
He uploads once every year, so.
Like, right. Are you caught up, by the way? Like with the latest chapter?
I am not. I'm a few behind.
I know it's not relevant to the stream, but I don't know. It's just something very interesting happened.
I remember they were.
Don't tell me, but I know.
No.
But I don't care what you say. Griffith is a dick. I hate him. I don't get this whole. Okay, so first of all, I know that Griffith did nothing wrong is basically a meme that, obviously he did things wrong. But then you have like those guys that say, actually, if you look at his philosophy, I'm like, no.
You're gonna like one of my future videos then, because I used to be on the side of like just blatantly like, yeah, he's such an evil person. How dare he? What a piece of shit. But it's like, hey, if you had your dick chopped off, all of your ligaments cut, you were humiliated in front of everyone, you were malnourished, you were literally wanting to kill yourself, you're also mentally like ruined for a year straight. I mean, if there was a little thing that was in front of you, it's like the size of an egg, and this thing gives you anything you want in this moment. Would you do the right thing? I don't think many people would after spending a year being tortured.
Absolutely not. But I think a lot of people argue like, was he in it like
would you do the right thing?
Evil?
Right.
Well,
Exactly.
answer. Would you do the right thing?
Absolutely not.
Well,
I'd be a
if
fucking evil bastard.
So first of all, if I wouldn't do the right thing, I would be a pretty crappy character also. I'm not denying it.
What now? What the thing I'm saying is, I'm not
I'd
defending.
be
what you
a
did.
bad dude.
It's bad, but at the same time, it's
As
kind of
much
like
as I don't want my dick chopped off. And I
And
promise.
there's the argument that the Band of the Hawk were always there to, fight
Right,
for Griffith's
exactly.
dream.
That
And then
that's kind of the side I was taking a little bit. That's not how the manga seems.
I think I can understand why Griffith did the things he did, but I think he's morally he can't be redeemed morally because the shit that he did after he was femto, like in the eclipse, like raping Casca and stuff in front of Guts, obviously to spite him.
It was
and
rather
just,
rather rude.
killing this witch, like just burning her alive. Like, okay, he's morally irredeemable.
Even
hard
I
to
before.
understand.
I can
to be
understand why he did it.
Well, it's not like I don't understand. That doesn't mean I like him, and that doesn't mean he's a good guy. It doesn't
But-
mean that his philosophy
but-
makes sense.
God damn, he is an amazing character. We gotta say that he is.
Okay,
fucking,
fine.
He's a great villain.
He's a good villain, but he's by no means an anti-hero. Like
Likable
I
in
hear
any
being
way.
Oh
thrown.
no, he's not an anti-hero.
It's like, oh, Griffith the anti-hero. So even before he became all evil and pruny, he was ruling the Band of the Hawk. He had his goals in mind.
he was a narcissist.
He was. It was also, the way he treated his comrades as tools. Like he even said about Guts, like, you don't have your own dreams, so I can't see you as my equal. Like things like that. You're just like, since your dream is to follow my dream, you're just going to be used by me. And I'm like, dude, that's dick move, bro. It's like, not nice.
a lot of people are also using the rationalization that, well, because he's made Falconia, all these people are now living peacefully and the demons are staying away from them, so that automatically fixes everything he did wrong. Like that is a thing I continuously see.
Right, but that's also not really fair. That's false also. Because that's again do your actions, what's the phrase? Never mind. It's the Code Geass argument, the Suzaku Lelouch thing from Code Geass. Do the ends justify the means or not? And his ends aren't just in the slightest, Griffith. He just wants control and power, I think.
No, I agree. That's definitely what he did with the whole gut situation was him throwing a tantrum because, his pet was running away and doing its own thing. That's why he fucked the princess, which was the stupidest thing he could have ever did. Like that was what fucked his whole situation up, was going to the princess's room. And yeah, there you go. So at the end of the day, that's the argument. If I was to argue against Griffith, I'd say the moment that he took the choice to go over to the princess's room and engage in fornication with her, that is when he fucked himself up. So
that was a good word, by the way. Anyway, so I would like to go back to Bleach, but I like Berserk. Yeah, what?
So I was going to segue back to Bleach anyway. So I feel like you were pointing out that it was very repetitive Bleach later on after the Soul Society arc. It was the same premise kind of repeated. So for Shonen, how would you say to avoid that? Or like what examples could you give an anime that kind of are long running like One Piece and are able to avoid that repetition?
Right. So I call it the Dragon Ball Bleach problem because it's basically those two shows, and so many shows are born from, those massive archetypes. And it's all really a perspective of the writing, and the writing perspective of Bleach is sort of putting everything in its own little bubble. Even as far as Dragon Ball, Goku wants to fight a strong opponent. Is he a good guy or is he a bad guy? From that mindset, you don't really know. He just wants to fight a strong guy. He's Boros from One Punch Man. He's Saitama from One Punch Man, right? So we don't know if he's just inside either. Ichigo doesn't have this strong opponent fetish, and he wants to just sort of do his thing. You said that there was a panel in the manga. I didn't see it, but that's not the impression I got from his character at all. I got, so they were captured. Fam, let's go save them. Save her, because, feminism ruined Bleach, apparently.
But there's the thing I could argue straight away is it's like, all right, well, the reason he was so enthusiastic about saving Rukia is because it's like, all right, this woman has come out of nowhere. She's given me abilities. She clearly said that it was illegal to do so. Now I have to repay the debt by doing so. And also the fact that, hey, I happened to lose this motherly figure when I was a child because of a similar situation. It's time for me to redeem myself. And the Orihime situation, exact same thing. Oh, I went to school with this person. I'm actually friends with this person. I'm not going to just let her die. While the Soul Society says, yeah, we're not going to be intervening with this or sending anyone to the Soul Society because that was the original thing Yamamoto said. So that's why he went
again,
to...
I'm not saying you're wrong. You're not wrong by any means.
But I'm arguing the point that
deconstructing your arguments, the writing put him in the same exact position twice.
Can I just say, Rukia's Orihime's significance being captured in the Hueco Mundo arc in the actual context of the story was nowhere near as important as when Rukia was captured.
Oh, absolutely.
But
Ichigo didn't really care. When Ichigo went to save Rukia, he didn't know anything about that stuff. He just wanted to save her because he was a good dude. And also, it's not like he felt morally obligated. He just was a good guy, and he wanted to save a girl, an innocent girl, from death. That's why he did it. He didn't want particularly these Soul Reaper powers. She thrust it upon him. Why? Well, arguably, she was going to die in that situation, so she did it to save herself. It's not like he's morally obligated to do so. He's just a good dude. And his good-dudeness...
But the manga panel also contradicts what you just said because he wanted the ability to change things in his world. And he even said that when he said that to Rukia too.
In the anime or the manga?
In the anime, he said, he goes, because Rukia was saying, oh, you have to save, people based on this, that, and the other. And he goes, I'll save whoever I like I'm doing this because I want to.
A pet peeve of mine is throwaway lines that aren't felt by the context of the narrative.
Still doesn't matter. Author's intent was there, and that's exactly what was that's essentially what he's doing. Like, it's really corny. It's like, oh, Ichigo the good guy in every situation, but that's essentially what his character is. As bland as it is, that's what it is.
Maybe that's what he wanted it, but that's not the characteristics he emanated. Like, for example, you see things in Luffy from One Piece. Luffy is one of the best shonen protagonists because he is morally twisted, and the series knows it, and they play to that strength. Like, I don't know. Have you watched One Piece, Clyde, Soul?
Yeah, I have. It's usually him frowning at the villain and then being like, I'm going to beat this guy, like pretty much every villain.
So one thing I want to point out, I feel like essentially every shonen, like, it's all about the battles, or more or less. And then so you have the battles as your main point, and then you have to throw them in a situation and give them a reason to fight, right? And I feel so like we were saying that essentially like Ichigo's reason didn't really change. All they really had to do was to like throw some perspective. When you look at One Piece, it all comes down to the battles. Like one time they're breaking out of a prison, one time it's a war, or even Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter had Gon had the worst motivation of all time, trying to find his dad. Like, it sucked. Like, that's not what the story was really about. But then like one scene, there's a tournament, there's like contests, they're stuck in a game. Like, they change the environment and they change the purpose of what Gon is doing.
So
but at the end of the day, it's about the fights. But I feel like it could have been way easier to make Bleach better.
So I agree with you, sort of, that the focus should be on the fights. First of all, I did a video art of a fight scene comparing Naruto and One Piece, that Naruto's focus is on the fights, and that's why the most epic moments in Naruto are Naruto beat Pain, Lee fights Gaara, right? Like, the fights, the most epic moments in One Piece are the moments. There's, Kaido appeared. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? It's like...
But if you look at that, though, like, Lee versus Gaara is in a tournament. If you look at Pain infiltrates the village. Like, there's always a different scenario where they have to fight. At the end of the day, the focus is the fight, but it's how you introduce the fight that really makes it not feel repetitive. It makes it feel like you're watching something different, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, when you said about One Piece, the moment where Luffy puts his foot under Doflamingo's foot to stop him from killing Law, that was fucking really badass, and like a moment I remember off the top of my head.
Right. Exactly. But the actual fight between Luffy and Doflamingo was okay.
Oh, it was so bad. God, I can't defend that. It's like, yeah, the hit he did on Doflamingo where he hit him into the into fucking Dressrosa, like, that was badass, but that's it. The rest of it was just like, all right, he bounces around the side.
It's all moments. One Piece is based on moments because it's based on the world, and Naruto is based on the growth of the characters, and therefore it's based on the fights, not the introductions and the moments and the growth of the universe. It's a different perspective that you have in each of those. Now, in Hunter x Hunter and Bleach, okay, before we talk about Bleach, in Hunter x Hunter, the way they set up Gon is as a fascinating specimen because, first of all, they said that any what was he? He was the basic type.
Pretty much. I mean, you can see by his abilities too. He's just the brawler dude.
I was looking for the word. Enhancer. He's the enhancer. Enhancers are steadfast to their beliefs, and they're almost anti-hero-ish. He's not. I take that back. I didn't mean that. I thought of the wrong word. Deconstruction. Deconstruction's a better word. I don't think he's a deconstruction of a shonen protagonist, but he is by no means morally right. He doesn't care about that stuff at all. He's finding his father. Kite's dead, so he'll go fight Pito.
He fights for only what he's interested in, really. He doesn't really care.
He doesn't care about the world. He doesn't care about anything unless it's directly driving his personal motivation. Killua is sort of also, and that's what makes it an interesting dynamic, and that's what puts the fights in an interesting setting. But Bleach has not the Naruto approach because it's not focused on a protagonist's goal to grow himself. No, he's just a reactive protagonist as opposed to a proactive protagonist. It doesn't have the One Piece goal of broadening the universe because no one gives a crap about the universe until they're actually fighting in that universe. And it doesn't have the Hunter x Hunter approach because we are looking at Ichigo as a morally apt dude as opposed to Gon, who is not. And that's why it's different than all three of these as far as fight scenes. And that's why they have less meaning.
See, it's not horrible to have a reactive series either. It just
Absolutely
has to be like,
not.
that means the villains have to be really good and really have good backstories to like provoke that reaction, right?
Yes, you're right. And I'm not saying that a reactive series is bad, but if you look at One Piece, it starts off as a proactive series. Luffy's going to find the One Piece, he's gathering his crew, he's doing his thing. But as the series progresses, it goes back and forth. Like him now in the Whole Cake Island.
The best example I can think of is Byakuya versus Ichigo was about justice and Ichigo's perspective of justice compared to Byakuya's, which Byakuya's was just blatant true justice. You know, his sister did wrong. Oh, yeah, you know, like Riki did wrong, so she's gonna, and he made a good point. He goes, well, if my family doesn't follow the laws of the Soul Society, then how can others follow them as we are the leaders of the Soul Society, whether, you know, we're a royal family? Like what precedent does that set? So that was a really good, you know, moral behind the battle and an actual story in terms of Byakuya. And
totally with you on that. I was actually considering,
But there's a follow-up. So one of Ichigo's first confrontations with Ukiura says, he's like, what if I was the one who brought Orihime here? And he just flashes over to him and, you know, he just reacts like a moron. He just jumps in and fights him straight away. Like that's the best example of reactionary compared to fighting for a moral cause.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, and I was considering doing a whole video on Byakuya versus Ichigo because that was actually really great. But whoa, which arc was that in? Oh yeah,
the good arc.
The good arc.
The Soul Society arc.
The Soul Society arc. Now, and when I say reactive protagonist, I don't mean reactive. He said something mean. I'm gonna react and beat the snot out of him. That's not exactly what I'm talking about. I mean,
you're saying more like he doesn't have a goal, but rather he's reacting to something the villain does.
Why did he enter the arc?
Exactly.
Why was he in Wako Mundo reacting to Orihime's capture? Why was he in the Soul Society reacting to Rukia's capture? Why was he in the Quincy arc reacting to the Soul Society being attacked? If you look at One Piece, it's proactive as far as his journey, but it's reactive in certain arcs, making a universe actually come to life because while everyone has their own trials and tribulations and everyone pushes forward themselves, they are going to need to react to the events of the world.
It's really ironic from Kubo as a writer because he made Aizen say to Ichigo, he literally says to Ichigo, he's like, why are you fighting me? Like, you don't care about me. Like, you only do this because Soul Society's saying that it's wrong. Like, Ichigo's whole ploy to go against Aizen in that sense is exactly what you're saying. Like, it's very reactionary and silly. Like, he's just doing it for the sake of it.
He's doing it for his morals. He's a morally just, as you mentioned, morally just dude. And therefore he reacts to everything that could put anyone in danger.
I think at the end of the day, that is the blatant way that he's written. Like a lot of people are expecting a very like convoluted, super analytical, you know, character that we can sort of dissect. But I think Ichigo is just Ichigo. Like that's it. It's whether it's bad or good, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's why I think it's the strength of the Soul Society arc, but it becomes the weakness of the overarching story of Bleach.
Yeah, no, I think Bleach has a lot of great moments outside the Soul Society arc as well. I can't pinpoint one like one bad thing about Bleach. I think it just is too many things that put together. Like, there's nothing wrong with having a reactive series, just the way you go about it. There's nothing wrong with like being very battle focused. It's the way you go about it. And I feel like there's just too many things later on that it wasn't enough to keep me interested in the story.
Well, one thing I gotta praise Bleach for in its early arcs was its really good conclusions and, you know, set up for the arcs afterwards. Like the end of Soul Society arc was arguably one of the best setups for the Wake Mundo arc because, you know, the entire Aizen reveal and
that was amazing.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That's what keeps people like invested in the series.
But again, another thing with the early arcs of Bleach, he paid very good attention, as I mentioned, to his characters. So I'm happy to see any of those characters again in any other setting to see what they do. So the army of filler episodes with like all the Soul Society dudes, Soul Reaper guys in Katakura Town was amazing. Watching like even the Hitsugaya playing soccer with Karin.
I was going to mention that before. That was a pretty nice. Yeah, it was a nice episode.
I watched that episode so many times, but then there were a few that were just like terrible. Like I don't know, like Ikaku buying ramen or something. Like that was whatever.
Ikaku's the best.
Wasn't there one where he was like getting
buy ramen?
Wasn't there a filler where he was wearing a wig or something like that? I swear there was one where he wore a wig because they were bagging him out about his bald head. Like, but yeah, that's
Oh, God, we haven't mentioned the music.
Music.
Oh,
Fantastic.
that's some of the best. Some of the best shit.
Oh, and the music and the fight choreography are some of the best in Shonen Jump. Like I can remember actual like punches that have been thrown because of how iconic they are. Like the whole Grimmjow versus Ichigo round 3 and the first fight is fucking amazing. Like there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, I'm not saying that everything was bad. I'm just
complain about.
No. I wasn't even implying that. I was saying like in terms of things that are memorable in the series, like that is something that sticks out to me like
100%.
a sore thumb.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I like for me anyway, the fight stood out, the character design stood out. There were so many great things about Bleach, and like for me, like the battles are what I watched Shonen for majority of the time. There were just too many things that like kind of fell off for Bleach anyway. That made me fall off the series.
Yeah, it was the execution of all these great ideas, but they just weren't executed well.
And it was slow as hell.
Honestly, I like the filler better in Bleach than I do in Naruto.
Oh, I've mentioned. No ninja ostriches, no cyborg Narutos, so a win for me. And I know everyone says that One Piece is the best because it's only 13% filler instead of Bleach and Naruto, which are 44 and 45% filler. But I think that the filler in One Piece is unbearable because it's every single episode. Half the episode of every episode is filler. It's just conversations between characters.
Disagree. The reason why I said like Bleach, I like Bleach filler better than Naruto isn't even because like how bad the Naruto filler was or how often it was. It's just I myself personally didn't like the characters as much in Naruto. So even if I was watching Bleach and it was a pointless episode, because I liked the characters more than Naruto, I enjoyed Bleach. I love every character in One Piece to their core. So they could just be like extending conversation, literally fucking around on a ship, and I'm like sitting there like enjoying the hell out of it. Right, because I love the characters.
Right, so I agree with you, but there were many types of filler. There's filler arcs with like they come up with their whole storylines, and there's also filler slice of life episodes. So the slice of life type episodes in Bleach were great. As I mentioned, Hitsugaya playing soccer in the real world with Karin. You know, that was amazing. I'll probably rewatch it after
you get to see the characters in a different setting and like a different, like acting a different way, right?
And it was hilarious and it was great. And also, whoever was directing Bleach had a better sense of humor than whoever was directing Naruto and One Piece. But as far as filler in One Piece, you don't have a lot. The ones that do exist are bad. But like Luffy fighting Cracker was like 8 episodes.
Yeah, that was bad.
Dude, it was 3 minutes of fight in every episode. 8 episodes.
Yeah, no,
it was like one chapter in the manga.
The pacing just slowly gets worse throughout the series. It's horrible.
And so does the animation. Everything starts looking like watercolors.
Do you remember that filler arc in One Piece after Skypiea where they drop down at a marine base?
Actually,
I remember that. That wolf, like it good and bad. I mean, I remember he like pulls a face behind a marine. That's about it. Like that's the only thing I remember.
Yeah,
so I consider myself a weathered anime fan, and in my younger years, before I knew of filler, I was stuck watching Naruto and Bleach, and I watched all the filler. It was terrible, but Fairy Tail and One Piece actually skipped the filler. How crazy is that?
So obviously it was filler, so nothing substantial like really happened, but I still very much enjoyed that arc. Like,
what about the filler that just happened? In One Piece, filler just happened with the marine dudes.
Oh yeah, it was another marine base thing with that guy with the weird arm. Is that what you're talking about?
That dude. Didn't actually watch it.
I watched a little bit of it. I don't really remember.
You didn't watch it?
Yeah, I know.
I'm a horrible fan. Clyde, I think we just won.
I think the last time I watched One Piece was the Kaido reveal. The pacing is disgusting. It's horrible. It's so just slow.
it's such a manga only show for me.
So
It really
I'm
is.
talking like more the first like 600-700 episodes. I was pretty consistent and like dedicated even to the filler. And then I've really like I just don't have the time anymore. So I just
No,
read the manga.
post time skip, it became unbearable.
I really
feel
did.
like that's become the
Animation.
same thing for anime that I love as well. I've just been reading the manga. I just don't have time.
Yeah, I need to get into manga.
Go ahead. Sorry, Clyde.
because I'm not even caught up. So, like,
I think I cut you off there.
No. I was just gonna say the like I think it's very apparent now. Like if you're a first time One Piece watcher, like you get to the time skip and that shit just bombs. Like it gets so bad. There are a couple of good episodes here and there where certain animators will work on particular episodes, like the Doflamingo fight and a couple of ones with like Zoro and so on. But those things don't cut the mustard because the rest of post time skip is really fucking slow. Like I'd stick to the manga if you're someone who's pretty new to One Piece.
I agree.
Yeah, same here. But like I hear people all over the place bashing the Dressrosa arc, and it was like one of my favorite arcs. But I only read the manga. I didn't actually watch it. I just watched like the Bartolomeo parts because that guy's amazing. But
that's the problem because the pacing is so bad. Anyone who watched it now, like they get a very like dry version of what it actually feels like when you read the manga because it's so fast paced.
Oh, it's weird too because I don't think Toei understands how physics work because when Luffy punches Doflamingo, his fist is like it's like rubbing against him for about 5 years, and then he gets
That's a Shonen thing. Everyone does that. You punch the guy.
Oh no! But in Bleach, it was like when Yamamoto punches Wonder Weiss, it's like it just goes snap, and then he just gets thrown away, or like Grim Jiao versus Ichigo.
Okay,
like,
so
God.
if Oda doesn't understand, or if Toei doesn't understand physics, then there's no way that Kubo understands biology. There is no way that much blood fits into everyone's body. Every single fight ends. Every single fight in Bleach ends with gashes over each shoulder, one across the chest and one across the side. Every single fight in Bleach.
when someone in Bleach gets cut, it takes like a minute. They're just standing there for like a minute, and then like
the blood comes out like a fire hydrant.
Kenpachi could have given a blood transfusion to an entire army with how much blood fucking was bleeding.
Like they have to have them fucking monologue first, and then they just spurt out the blood. It's like
it always goes like
cliche.
this.
He like you see him sheath his sword. What? I didn't even see him unsheath his sword. What? He's behind me now. What happened? Oh, I've already cut you 42 times.
No. It always goes like this. Like someone will swing a sword, and then you just hear like, and then there's just blood spilling everywhere. Just fucking like someone's dropped a pan. Like, oh shit.
Hey, at least it's not as bad as Berserk. The anime Berserk. The manga, don't worry.
You're talking the 3D one or the 2D one?
Oh yeah, the 3D.
That.
The
I would rather watch Muppets Berserk than the 3D one.
My God, I rewatched it a little bit, and it doesn't age well.
It doesn't age well. Oh, it just came out yesterday.
Oh, so your mic's lagging, by the way. Like it's really choppy.
I don't know.
The good news is we're gonna wrap up soon.
Yeah, I gotta go like right this second. I have a presentation like in 5 minutes.
All right. Send regards to the teacher.
I will. Later, boys.
See ya. All right. So I guess you want to stop here. Have anything else to say?
I just want to say I apologize if I like sound tired or like my sentences are very on and off, but God, it's 8 a.m. and your boy has been up for like almost 24 hours. But this was also very interesting to join in on. Like it's the first proper podcast I've been on, so thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. We do this once a week, and I'm sure if you enjoyed, you're always invited back.
Yeah, happily. I'm sure.
I apologize for the shit quality of my mic. I just want to quickly put that out there.
It's all good. We've had way worse.
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations for Nux for reaching 100,000 subscribers.
Oh, thank you.
Verification tick. Congratulations.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did.
Yeah, good stuff. Good job on 100K. Like I always used to see your videos on my recommended. I'm like, that dude is a workhorse. He needs to relax with his videos.
Yeah, honestly, I'm thinking of taking like a 4-year vacation now. No one gets scared, but like, oh man, like I was doing 3 videos a week, and they're fully edited, fully scripted, and I'm like killing myself here.
Oh, that's what I mean. Like I respect that. That's a lot more work than I can even imagine. Stuff like that. That's ridiculous. But yeah, I want to say. Yeah, thanks for having us on again. If you ever do a Berserk stream though, let us on again because that's something we can get into a bit more. Because like this has been a pretty negative stream because it's just been Bleach, so it's like there's not really much positives to say.
Well, I thought that the first arc was amazing. So that's
everyone does. Like it's you know, it is sort of like common sense, but it's like the rest. There's not really much positive things to say other than I like the way that dude swung his sword.
But he swung it fast though. And but Berserk, he swung his sword also, and it's a bigger one. Okay, fine. I'm kidding. There's good in Berserk. I'll have to catch up on the manga first, and we have to wait for Anime Uproar to go back to Cuba because I don't think he's anywhere near caught up. I don't think he even watched the anime. But yeah, we're gonna have to try to get him to do that.
What is this feminism thing? They're still going about it. Oh my god.
I don't know. Well, this time feminism ruined Nux Taku, so that's bad. Apparently.
Oh no, Nux is a feminist.
I don't know. Not to my knowledge. But anyway, thank you so much for coming. Link to everyone in the description. Check them out. They're awesome dudes. The three of us are pretty much the only ones that do niche shonen analysis on YouTube. Who else is there?
Yeah, that's it.
Anime Uproar does some, but not much.
Yeah, no one really does. The biggest one that's blown up in terms of like analytical videos was, you know, Super Apache Wolf's Bleach one. That's probably the biggest out of the lot. The rest of them don't do that well, but
yeah, but he's not shonen. I mean, none of us are.
No. What I'm implying is, it's like, look, even when it comes to like shonen as a topic, like that's the pinnacle of what it's reached at the moment. I think, you know, us three have, you know, really given a lot of spotlight, apart from reviewers.
Yeah, well, reviews are very different.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. That's the other option.
Well, anyway, it's been a pleasure to have you guys. First time I actually spoke to you. So
yeah, it was
definitely great to have you. Thanks everyone for watching. Thank you so much for the support and everything. Links to everybody in the description, and I'll see you next time. See ya.
Thanks for having me.
See ya.